All right, today we'll be revealing why Rec League is broken. Really just bringing you some alpha and how you can get better at the game and compete in Mezzi's Mayhem and in future tournaments and in the game and how you can improve. So without further ado, we're going to dive into what to do, how to build your mech, and what to expect. So without further ado, let's just dive right into it. This is more of a talking head video, so I'm not going to do really a step-by-step, but yeah, let's just get into it. So first up, you need to build all of your parts, basically the same constructor, which basically there's like side crane, there's primate, and another one as well. So you basically want to stick with that group. So whatever the constructor class that mech part is, you just want to build your entire mech basically full of those parts. And it doesn't really matter necessarily on the rarities, more so on the abilities. So the higher class players or the more competitive players pretty much have all the rare abilities out there. So they've gone into the market already and kind of bought up all the, parts with special abilities like teleport and slide kick and tachyon beam and things like that. So, from the core all the way to the legs, all the way to, the types of weapons and crests and emblems or whatever, they've kind of went in there and cherry picked all those different parts for their mech and then assembled it. Some others have, rare cool coda parts or legendary parts, but that doesn't necessarily mean they have the best ability. So you definitely want to check your abilities and kind of check to see which abilities you may have. And it's kind of obvious because if you fought with your mech already, then you kind of already have an idea. So, and another thing is combos. So a lot of these players at the higher levels have went out and souped up their mechs to have like all these super long combinations. And that is very, very key, because if you can rack up a lot of combinations in the game, then you can damage your opponent for maximum damage without the opponent attacking you back. So that's vitally important. And that's what a lot of the higher end mechs have done and players have done, is they've gone out and basically got the parts with the abilities that are rare, and also have basically geared their mech to have like this big, crazy, long combination. I think at one point, at that one I was fighting just now, a higher end player or higher class player, and he was sitting there hitting me for like, it felt like forever. It felt like eternity. I was just getting hit because he has this big souped up mech that can do all these combinations, and it matters when it is pretty much a game of attrition, because even if you're blocking, you're still taking damage. So, even if you get, they're able to do a bunch of these combinations and lower your health, and then they can get off their, ultimate ability and all that stuff as well. And that's another thing too. So we're going to get into like movement as well, placement of the map. So I notice a lot of drill mechs are out there, and what they'll do, the close range mechs, they'll try to scoot you into a box and into a corner. So while you're blocking, they're going to go ahead and just keep spamming the forward button to scoot you back to where you have no place to maneuver. And they're able to basically blast you with combinations because they don't have to chase you down. So if you're a long range mech, you're kind of SOL, honestly, because they can rack up, they can have like this big, long, like 6-7 move combination and deal like, 80 different hits or something crazy like that, or maybe more. And also in parallel with their ultimate ability. So you definitely have to be aware of that, especially if you're a long range player. You have like the gun, for example, like I do. I'm not able to just have a bunch of mechs just in my garage just yet. No sponsors here on the channel, or no, teams or DAOs that are like supporting me. I noticed, I think Orangey has, Journey behind him in his corner. So his mech's kind of like souped up, and he's doing really well. However, I have been able to still ace some of the top players. However, they beat me more times than not, but obviously given my mech, I'm doing the best of what I can with the mech that I have. So those are all kind of the things you have to consider, is you do have guys either spamming the back button to get distance on you so you won't be able to close in, or you'll have guys like with the drill spamming the forward button so you have to go all the way back. So I do kind of wish Rec League would extend the maps a little bit more, because I don't really like that. I don't like that the drill guys are able to really have like this big long combination patient and be able to back you into a corner. I don't think that's cool, and I don't know if they'll change that as well. I'll just have to figure out, you know, a different strategy, or if I had like better abilities, I could do like a slide kick and kind of ruin their combination. There's a few things that I'd like to see, but again, I don't have all the parts in my garage to assemble like the best mech just yet. I'm getting close to the mech I kind of like generally, but like when you're playing at the top higher end levels, that kind of matters. Now, the point system is really unique, and you know, at first I kind of was like, I don't know about this, 2 weeks long, but I get why they did it now, and they also are doing some changes, it looks like. So you'll basically be able to play in 2 time frames. So there's like 3 time frames, and I'm on Central Time, so I don't know what time you are depending on what part of the world, but my time is like 5 a.m., 1 p.m., and 9 p.m. So those are my times to really, you know, basically have to wake up really early or play at 1 or play at 9 p.m. And now they're changing it to where you'll be able to play. You have to pick either two time slots, and that will max out your time slots for the day. So I noticed 9 p.m. my time, it seems like the higher, you know, the better players are out and about, like the higher ranked ones, the players with more points rather. The point system's interesting because it tries to match you up closely with the, I think it's like plus, you know, 5 or 10 points initially, and if it takes too long, it'll try to rank you with a like plus, you know, 5 to all the way to 30 point range, and then so on until you finally get matched up. So I've been matching up pretty closely to my class. I have matched up with a couple 130s, 160s, and top players and things like that before as well. So don't be too surprised if you face somebody like way above you, because sometimes that it does do that. I also notice people, when they feel adequate with the points they have, I notice they haven't really been playing as well, because I don't see any zeros anymore, and I haven't really seen too many super low ranks or lower, you know, pointed players as well. So that's also something to think about. You know, should you even, like, that's one thing, the downside of the point system, which I see, like if you're always improving, changing your mech, and you're always adding, you know, maybe more combinations to your mech, you could definitely grind and claw your way back up to the top like me, like I'm trying to do. But the one downside is, like, you know, I'm fighting against like guys that have decked out their mechs, they've decked out their combinations, and they have their mech figured out already. So that's where I'm trying to, like, you know, is it worth it to continue to play? Because I'm just gonna keep losing points to these guys that have the best mechs in the game. So that's where I don't know, right? I don't have an answer for that, and maybe they'll try to figure that out, and maybe like the ranks, like you'll have to, I think they maybe should extend the queue to more evenly matched players as well. But you know, a lot of people are figuring out these metas, maybe in Discord, and people sharing the alpha and all that stuff. But I basically just gave you all the alpha and how you can succeed. You know, use the same constructor class, build a mech with like solid combinations that are just like totally OP. I forget what the player I just played, like I said, like it was pretty much impossible. Like I could have beat him if I could counter, like, or if I had some attacks as well that could like evade and interrupt his attack and attack him back. But since I don't have that part, you know, that edge is lost, and that's very, very important in this game. So you do want to have like kind of the best mechs to compete against the best players. Otherwise, you'll just get dominated. And that's just that's just it in a nutshell. Like there's no ifs, ands, and buts. You'll just get beat because it's not necessarily just pure skill. You definitely have to have those abilities. And like I said, it's a game of attrition, because again, if somebody's hitting you with like 8 or 9 combinations or whatever the case may be, it's pretty, or however much energy that mech has as well. Like you could have a ton of energy and just be able to unleash all these combos on you and just take you all the way down, and you just have like barely any health to really counter against that. So if you have the abilities to counter, then you can start, you know, taking it back to them and winning more on that skill. So that's kind of my, you know, I guess take on everything so far in this tournament, Mezzy's Mayhem, if you will. So I hope that really helps you guys. And again, this is an interesting dynamic, because I can see how, you know, people would be excited about sponsoring people, or like, hey, we'll help you out with your mech, just put just put our DAO's name in your name. Like, you know, what I saw with Orangey, with Journey, I could see that being very beneficial for players and DAOs getting recognition for being like, you know, kind of a Web3 gaming guild, or trying to get their name in the mix and build that reputation. Especially right now, there's not really a lot of competition in Web3 gaming in terms of like DAOs, gaming orgs, and things like that. I mean, there's a few out there, but they're really quiet in the branding. There's not a whole lot of branding in my opinion, and people haven't really mastered that, I don't think, in my opinion. But it is cool to see people out there trying to do different things and learn and things like that. So I do see opportunity for things like that to happen in the game, where people will start to take notice of like, oh, that's, you know, that's a Basie player, or that's a Journey player, that's a, you know, whatever player, right? So that is pretty cool that, you know, because you have to think about constructing the mech, paying the gas fee, you know, or disassembling the mech, and then, you know, buying the part. So there's a lot to think about in terms of these mechs and the kind of cost associated with these mechs. So, but if you have a sponsor on the other hand that can just go out and be kind of like the sugar daddy of your corner, then you can go out and just assemble whatever mech you want, or, you know, people can lend you mechs from your guild or DAO or whatever the case may be, and that will be easier for you to win in these types of tournaments. But yeah, that's all I got for this video. Let me know what you think and throw a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Again, I am kind of taking a break. The tournament's still going my time slot's still going right now, but I'm consistently losing because I don't have any counter abilities that can evade attacks and things like that. And my mech can't do like these big, long, giant combinations for like, it feels like I'm just getting attacked for like an hour, but it's not really an hour, obviously. But yeah, so I'm going to take a break until I can find the part that I want. I know exactly what the pair of legs I need for my mech that lets me do an ability that interrupts the opponent's attack while attacking them and setting them kind of off balance for my other attacks. So yeah, until I get those kind of parts together and figured out, then I will proceed. People have been so gracious to, you know, kind of lend their mechs to me, and unfortunately those mechs haven't really worked out because they don't work with my play style, and they don't really have any good combinations. So unfortunately that didn't work out, but I really do appreciate that for the guy that sent those over, and I'll be sending those back here pretty soon. But yeah, that's really all I got for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Again, like I said, hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe, whatever platform it is. Might be X now. It seems like I get more views on X sometimes than I do on YouTube, but we'll see. Anyways, yeah, that's all I got for this one. I'll catch you in the next video. Later.